Hello and welcome back, my friends. Today we'll be focusing on Ephesians 5:28-30, which reads, "So husbands ought to love their own wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it just as the Lord does the church. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones." In the Greco-Roman culture, men had absolute power over their wives and often abused their position. As we've discussed earlier this week, marriage in the first century was more utilitarian and contracted for the purposes of childbearing. Men had the legal right to punish or even kill his wife, children, or slaves. On the other hand, we also have the more male-dominated Jewish religion that was in stark contrast with the more female-dominated Artemis worship. It is very likely that new converts, either from the Jewish faith or Artemisan worship, brought their culture with them into their new Christian faith. And so Paul challenges husbands even a step further into thinking about their marriage and how to treat their wives. He argues that people don't normally treat their bodies unkindly, nor do they abuse their own bodies. On the contrary, people usually do things out of self-interest that benefits themselves. We have a word for it nowadays: self-care. Health experts are increasingly emphasizing the importance of taking care of ourselves for both the physical and mental benefits. In my job as a therapist, I often get couples complaining about not having enough me time, or they feel entitled to pursue more of their own individual interests, thus sacrificing their relationship instead of themselves. Just a quick disclaimer though, it doesn't mean that there is no individuality in the relationship and that couples should always do everything together. But when one spouse's well-being is chronically prioritized over the other, that is not balanced, and that is not a reflection of the giving, self-sacrificing marriage model Paul is trying to teach the Ephesians, and consequently, all Christians. Emotion expert Brené Brown says that love is an emotion we feel when our hearts are open. She says, love is not something we give or get. It is something that we nurture and grow, a connection that can be cultivated between two people only when it exists within each one of them. We can love others only as much as we love ourselves. Shame, blame, disrespect, betrayal, and the withholding of affection can damage the roots from which love grows. And that is our nugget for today. I'll see you tomorrow.